By the end of this video, you will have the exact skill set required to join any team and fill any role in the Salvation's Edge raid. If you find joining LFG groups to be stressful or just don't want to bother wasting your time there, come to my stream at twitch.tv/AlecD2 and I will do my absolute best to get you in on a run of this raid with my personal team. Now let's get into the guide. For the first encounter, I would recommend any ad clear loadout, preferably something like a machine gun or even a Galahorn. To start this encounter, pick up the resonance buff on the floor and deposit it into the box right in front of it. Two doors will then open, split up into two teams of 3 players and clear these rooms. Hydras will spawn in these rooms and killing them will unlock more doors inside of each room to progress further. Once these doors open, there will be an overload Minotaur. Once the Minotaur dies, a Tormentor spawns in the main room, which once killed will cause one of the plates inside of the room the Minotaur was in to start glowing. Let one player step onto this plate. The line connected to the plate will then send a light to one of the other plates it is connected to. Let another player step on the next plate. Keep in mind that once one player has stepped onto a plate, they need to get off right after. Then the other player needs to step onto their plate once the light starts closing in on it. The light will then get sent back to the original plate that was stepped on. Repeat this process to spawn resonance buffs in both rooms. Make sure you guys collect as many of these buffs as possible. Next to one of these plates, there will be an open pillar and you'll need at least one stack of the buff to close it. So shoot the pillar once while not standing on the plate and then once more when you step onto the plate when the light closes in on it. Once both teams have done this, you can all go to the middle and kill the subjugator and deposit your buffs into the box in the middle. This will extend your timer. Do this 3 times and you're done. Please note that on the third phase, you will only need to deposit 1 stack into the box in order to complete the encounter. So don't worry about min-maxing the amount of stacks you will get. Now the second encounter. This is also the first boss fight of the raid. I would recommend running swords on this encounter as it will be an easy 2-phase regardless. Just make sure you're matching the weekly surges. This encounter is very similar to the first one. There are 3 sides, left, middle, and right, split up into 3 teams of 2 players. Each one of these sides will have 2 plates and will be used the same way as in the first encounter. Soon after the encounter has started, the boss will call for 3 players to the middle of the arena. This means that any of the 3 players need to go to the middle of the arena and shoot the boss's helmet. Once his helmet has been shot, taken blights will spawn around the map. You will also see a small blight above the boss's helmet indicating that the blights are still active. Once all blights have been destroyed, shoot the boss's helmet again and it will break. Once it has broken, each of the 3 original players who were called to the middle will receive a buff which will let them see which buff needs to be deposited into the pillars close to them. The only 2 resonant buffs on this encounter are triangle and circle. The plates work the exact same way in this encounter, so keep sending the signals back and forth to spawn resonance buffs around the map. Collect the corresponding buffs to what is on your pillar and shoot it once you are done. Once all 3 sides have been completed, everyone needs to run to the back of the arena and deposit their buffs into the box to extend the timer. This also starts the DPS phase. Do this 2 to 3 times and the boss will be dead. For final stand, there will be an ogre, witch, and phalanx that spawn. Other than that, nothing really changes. You just want to keep damaging the boss. Next up is third and arguably the easiest encounter of the whole raid. In this encounter, you will see a new buff which we will call Square. 3 players will stay at the start of each room to activate the plates and the other 3 will go to the end to shoot their symbols. Kill all 3 tormentors at the beginning of the encounter. Once you kill a tormentor, you will receive a buff to let you see which resonance symbol needs to be shot on the corresponding pillar. Same thing you did in the last encounter, except you get the buff from the tormentor and not the boss. Once you have identified which symbols need to go where, start sending the plates back and forth. Resonance buffs will once again spawn around the map. You need to pick up the resonance buffs that spawn closest to you, and once you have 3 stacks, you are ready to go. The 3 players at the plate endings will then need to swap positions to match the symbols they have picked up with the symbols displayed on the pillars. Once they have moved over, they need to activate the pillars. Please note, even the players at the beginning of the plates will have resonance buffs spawn near them, so they should also pick these buffs up. Once all 3 pillars have been activated, all 6 players need to go deposit all their remaining resonance buffs into the box that spawns in the middle of the arena. This once again extends the timer, and you will have to do the exact same thing in in the next 2 rooms. There are a total of 3. On screen, you can see graphs of which plates link to each other in the second and third room as they change after the first one. Now for the most mechanically complicated encounter Bungie has ever produced, the easy way. Once you start this encounter by interacting with the Guardian statue at the front, 3 players will be teleported into their own rooms. We call these the 2D rooms. The remaining 3 players will be together in what we will be calling the 3D room. If you are in the 2D room, step 1, look at the shape your Guardian is holding. Step 2, kill both knights and grab the shape that your Guardian is not holding. Step 3, deposit the shape your Guardian is not holding by the Guardian that is holding the corresponding shape. Note, at this point, all 3 walls in the 2D room should be cycling the shape that their Guardian is holding. Step 4. Wait for the 3D room to call that dissection is done. I will explain how to dissect in a moment. Step 5. Kill the ogre, then both knights, and pick up one shape at a time and deposit one of your shapes on each of the 2 Guardians not holding your shape. So for example, if your character is holding a square, you need to deposit a square on the Guardian holding a triangle and also the Guardian holding a circle. Please note, there is a ghost phase that could be happening before or during the 2 deposits of your shape to the other 2 Guardians. If this is the case, ensure you know which other Guardian you have already deposited your shape to and make sure both Guardians get your shape. If you are unsure what the ghost phase is, it basically kills 3 members of the team and spawns their ghosts in the 3D room. The players in the 3D room then need to pick up their ghosts and resurrect them by the corresponding statue to the player who died's Guardian. If done correctly, all 2D rooms should have 2 shapes cycling on their wall that is not the shape their Guardian is holding. You now need to kill the ogre again, both knights again, and grab both shapes dropped by the knights to make your 3D shape to walk through the glass. Save the 5 Guardians that have died, and phase 1 of 3 is complete. Rinse and repeat all steps above 2 more times and you will have finished the encounter. Rinse and repeat all steps 2 more times and you will have finished the encounter. Okay, now to explain dissection. Instead of breaking this entire process down, I have instead linked a website down in the description below. You can also see it on screen right now, to basically calculate the entire encounter for you. So you can input the symbols in 2D room and in 3D room, and this website will basically tell you exactly what to do. Now for the final boss of the entire raid, the Witness. Hunters with Still Hunt and Celestial Nighthawk is going to be your best DPS option here. If you do not have any of these, I would recommend running any linear fusion rifle and you should be fine. First of all, there are 3 hands on the map doing 3 different attacks. The first hand is the one that spawns a triangle as an attack and is hanging from the sky. Number 2 is a hand that spawns 3 darkness beams and this hand comes out from the side. Number 3 is a hand that spawns a round circle attack and this hand comes out from the floor. You can either have 2 or 3 people on this encounter doing mechanics, the rest can kill ads. I recommend having 2 ad clear players on the right side and 2 on the left, and have 1 person running on the left and 1 person running from the right. First of all, if you see a hand doing an attack, you want to briefly step into the attack the hand is doing and shoot the bracelet around it. Once you have broken the bracelet, it will have a symbol on it, either a square, circle, or triangle. Once you have identified which symbol it has or which color it is, you then need to run to the hand doing that attack and stand in that attack until you receive its respective buff. Once you have the buff, you run back to the first attack you stood in and shoot the bracelet around that same hand to destroy it. Once destroyed, you will receive the Glyph Breaker buff. You then need to run to the middle of the arena on the platform and shoot one of the glyphs on the witness's chest. This will then destroy the glyph while also taking all your resonance stacks as long as you stood on the platform as you broke it. Your objective is to do this 6 times in order to break all of the witness's glyphs. At some point throughout the phase, there will be a pop-up at the bottom left saying the witness is going to test you. This means that when you or somebody else shot one of the hands, it made a loud screaming noise. This is how you block the wipe mechanic. If the hand that screamed was the hand doing a circle attack, then you need to now shoot out a circle in front of the witness. Then his eyes will glow, and once that happens, everyone needs to jump in order to prevent dying. Once all 6 glyphs on his chest have been destroyed, DPS starts. During DPS, the witness does various attacks which you need to dodge. After every 2 attacks, he gives you a longer damage window. So just make sure you coordinate with your team where you guys are moving to on the plate. Try to help people stay alive and dodge the attacks. And rinse and repeat this cycle until you get to final stand. Final stand is basically the exact same thing. You just dodge the attacks on the plate while shooting the boss. And that is how you defeat the witness. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you found it useful. Like I said, I'm doing helps on my Twitch stream at twitch.tv/AlecD2. Join the Discord. There is a link down below if you are interested in finding groups to play with. I am also launching my community clan today so people can have others to play with on a consistent basis. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Remember to drop a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.